Good evening, everyone. When I became a mother, I thought I understood growth. After all, I had watched my baby grow from a tiny heartbeat to a little explorer. But somewhere in between diaper changes, sleepless nights, and endless routine, I realized something. While my baby was growing every single day, I wasn't sure if I was. That moment, that quiet realization was when I began to truly understand what growth means. It isn't about adding years to life, it's about adding depth to who we are, both personally and professionally. There was a time when I measured growth by what I could achieve: grades, goals, recognition. But after marriage, especially after becoming a mother, my world changed. The old version of me, driven, focused, and ambitious, had suddenly taken a backseat. I found myself asking, what happened to that girl who used to dream big? It took me a while to realize that growth doesn't stop when life changes direction. It simply takes another form. Sometimes growth looks like learning patience when your toddler throws a tantrum. Sometimes it's choosing peace instead of proving a point. Sometimes it's just getting through the day instead of giving up on yourself. The Quran beautifully reminds us, indeed with hardship comes ease. That verse became an anchor for me because personal growth often happens in the most ordinary moments. When you pause before reacting, when you rediscover your voice after losing it for a while. Growth, I learned, isn't always visible. Sometimes it's the quiet work of rebuilding your confidence, a small act of courage at a time. After my baby was born, I stepped away from my career for a while, and when I tried to return, I felt completely lost. Technology had moved on, people had changed roles, and I wasn't sure where to begin. That's when I realized that growth doesn't always mean moving up. Sometimes it means starting over. I started learning again, new skills, tools I had never heard of. At first, it felt slow. Then I realized something powerful. Every bit of effort was helping me reconnect with myself. Professional growth, I have come to believe, is not about climbing ladders. It's about building bridges between who you were, who you are, and who you are becoming. Growth at work is not about promotions or paychecks. It's about purpose. It's about learning to trust yourself again after a break. To ask questions instead of pretending to know. To keep showing up even when no one is clapping, because growth doesn't need an audience. It just needs consistency. What I have realized is this: personal and professional growth are never separate journeys. When you grow emotionally, you communicate better. When you grow spiritually, you handle pressure better. When you grow professionally, you feel more confident personally. The two feed each other. You can't be strong at work if you're breaking inside, and you can't be present at home if your soul feels unfulfilled. Growth is not about building these two. It's about learning how they nourish each other. When we evolve in one, we rise in both. If there is one thing motherhood has taught me, it's that growth has seasons. There are seasons of planting, when you work quietly, doing small things that don't seem to matter. And there are seasons of waiting, when your effort seems nothing at all and there is no change and you wonder if your effort means anything at all. And then there are seasons of blooming, when suddenly everything starts to make sense. What I have learned is this: every season has purpose. When I took break from work after having my baby, I used to feel guilty. I watched others move forward while I stayed home repeating the same routines. But later I realized that season of stillness was not wasted. It was preparing me. It was teaching me patience, balance, empathy, qualities I could never have learned from a book. I used to think slowing down meant falling behind. But now I see that sometimes slowing down is the only way to catch up with your soul. But let's be real, growth isn't glamorous. It's messy, it's uncertain. Sometimes it's sitting at the edge of your bed at 2 a.m. and wondering if you are doing enough as a mother, as a professional, as you. Growing means falling, getting up, falling again, but each time a little stronger, a little wiser. And yes, there are moments you look around and think everyone else seems ahead. But flowers don't bloom by competing with the one next to them. They bloom when the season is right, and your season will come. If there is one thing I could describe growth now, I would say it's a lot like being a tree. Your personal growth are the roots, invisible, but holding you firm through storms. Your professional growth are the branches, reaching outward, seeking light and new possibilities. If you nourish both, you don't grow taller, but you give shade to others. So, if you are in a situation or in a season where you feel lost or left behind, remember this: you are not failing, you are forming. So, grow with curiosity, grow with courage, and grow with compassion for yourself and for those around you. Because the world doesn't need perfect people. It just needs growing ones. The people who are becoming wiser, kinder, and braver with every passing day. Thank you.